Do you know, since its emergence, the garment, textile, and footwear industry have created lots of jobs and generated a big chunk of economic growth. It created about 600,000 jobs for workers and increased export revenue to $7 billion a year. Total workers' wages have reached a minimum of $120 million a month. All the wages received in the sector go back home, in majority to rural families and rural economies. Because of this, many families can support their livelihood and send their children to school. Rural and urban economies start developing and creating new opportunities for entrepreneurs, including services such as accommodations, food and beverage services, and transportation. Also, all factories need accounting, labor, and import-export services, as well as other services. It is very obvious that Cambodia needs garment, textile, and footwear industry to continue to grow, and this sector wants to create thousands of more decent jobs in the sector and give young Cambodians a better livelihood. Like minimum wages in many countries in the region, minimum wages in Cambodia have rapidly changed in the last few years. In Cambodia, we have embarked on a very clear, data-driven process to decide our minimum wages, using both social and economic criteria. Social criteria are clearly defined, including main factors such as needs of workers and their families, inflation, and cost of living. Economic criteria are harder to establish, but in general, they include productivity and competitiveness, economic benefits of the sector, labor market, and employment. A regular adjustment of wages. In the chart, you can see how real growth rate of wages has increased after tripartite efforts. This is good for workers. It is important that workers can continue to enjoy a living standard that is appropriate to general economic development. There are 6 main challenges that our industry is faced with. First, the US dollar is appreciating and becoming stronger. Second, the number of new factories starting is declining compared to previous years. Third, the number of new jobs being created is declining. Fourth, the number of strikes and bad unions disrupting the workplace is a big challenge. Fifth, labor productivity is declining. And sixth, the price that buyers are paying is also declining. Although the Khmer Real versus the US dollar exchange rate remains broadly stable to support overall price stability, the dollarization is eroding the competitiveness of exports to the US and EU markets. Despite steady growth in factory establishments since 2011, the number of export establishments is declining. The number of closures in smaller manufacturing firms, not exporting, is quite high. Numbers of employment in exporting factories is declining. We need to improve the type of manufacturing we are doing. We also need to create new industries to make sure all people in Cambodia have more jobs. In the chart, we can see the number of unions in blue and the number of factories in green. There are so many small unions in Cambodia which do not look after workers' interests. Collective bargaining agreement is not playing a constructive role in protecting worker and employer rights and industry stability. In this chart, you can see how many strikes are in our garment, textile, and footwear sector. It is simply so many strikes for the important industry. Productivity is about working smart, doing more in less time, because of the modern machinery and right skillful workers. You can see in the chart that the value added per worker per month is going down dramatically. This is not good, not only for the garment sector, but also for Cambodia's overall competitiveness. Our garment, textile, and footwear sector is a basic type of manufacturing, with countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Indonesia paying less for the same work. Buyers are offering our factories with lower prices. To change this, the industry needs time to move up the value chain, improve skills, and focus on productivity and technology investments. Employers' positions. For employers, we want to make sure that wage levels enable the factories still grow and that we have a peaceful industrial relations environment. First, a critical need to ensure our garment, textile, and footwear sector remains competitive and biggest formal employment sector. Second, a need to ensure jobs and employment opportunities are generated. Third, a need to have time to diversify the economy and garment, textile, and footwear sector. Fourth, a need to focus on productivity and skill improvement. And fifth, a need to ensure that unions are unified. While we have some challenges in the garment, textile, and footwear sector, we all need to stand together to make sure we work together for the benefit of Cambodia. Garment, textile, and footwear industry is crucial for the economy of Cambodia. Minimum wage is only a part of the stability of this sector, so we have to work together. CAMFEBA represents employers and business in Cambodia. We ensure that industry continues to generate jobs and help in diversification of the economy. Successful business, prosperous Cambodia is our motto.